Hello, my dear listeners, and welcome to the Kapil Gupta Career Pod Show, India's favorite destination for career clarity, confidence, and self growth. And now, before we start, let me ask you something. How many times have you looked around waiting for someone to appreciate you? Maybe you expected a friend to notice your hard work, or your parents to acknowledge your progress, or your boss to say, "Good job." And when that didn't happen, you felt a little deflated, like all your effort went unnoticed. I've been there too. We all have. Because deep inside, we humans crave validation. We love being told we are doing well. But what if I told you that waiting for others to cheer you on is the biggest mistake you can make? And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the most powerful habits successful people have mastered: being your own cheerleader. Because let's face it, in this noisy competitive world, not everyone will clap for you. Sometimes you'll have to create your own applause. And trust me, when you learn to encourage yourself, when you can be your biggest supporter, your loudest motivator, your personal hype team, that's when real success begins. So today we'll uncover 5 powerful lessons, all wrapped around relatable stories and practical tips that will teach you how to cheer for yourself when the world goes silent. Ready? Let's begin this journey of self belief and celebration. Hello, all. I'm Kapil Gupta, career coach, life mentor, and founder of Study Abroad Academy. I'm on a mission to help 100,000 high school students break free from confusion, fear, and self doubt and step into global classrooms, powerful careers, and a life they love. Now, this isn't just about studying abroad, it's about building clarity, confidence, and character. I do it with coaching, mindset work, and the game changing power of graphotherapy. Because students deserve more than just guidance, they deserve transformation. So let's start with a simple story. A few years ago, I met a young girl named Meera during one of my career counseling workshops. She was bright, ambitious, and talented. But every time she spoke about her goals, she ended a sentence with, "But I don't think I can do it." Are you one of them? She wanted to become a psychologist, but believed she wasn't smart enough. She wanted to start a podcast, but thought no one would listen. And one day, I asked her to write down her self talk, the words she used for herself daily. She did. And you know what we discovered? 90% of her sentences began with "I can't" or "I don't think so." That day, I introduced her to the power of self affirmation. See, your brain listens to everything you say, even when you're joking. And when you keep repeating negative statements, your mind starts believing them. And according to research by Dr. Claudia Steele at Stanford University, positive self affirmations strengthen neural pathways that improve problem solving and reduce stress under pressure. So Meera began a new habit. Every morning, she stood in front of a mirror and said 3 sentences: "I can learn," "I am growing," "I deserve good things." At first, she said it half heartedly, but over time, her energy changed. Her voice grew stronger, her posture straightened. And 3 months later, She applied for a psychology internship and got selected. How cool is that? That's the magic of self talk. And when you replace I can't with I will, your life begins to move in a new direction. Remember, no one else hears your thoughts more than you do. So make sure they're working for you, not against you. So let's move to the next part, celebrating your small wins. Have you ever noticed how we Indians celebrate everything big? Board results, promotions, marriages, but rarely celebrate small steps. We wait for the big victory to feel proud, forgetting that success is built on a million little efforts. I once worked with a student named Raghav preparing for his UPSC exams. He used to feel like a failure every evening because he hadn't cleared the exam yet. But when I asked him, "How much did you study today?" And he said, "I completed 2 chapters." I smiled and said, "Then why not celebrate that?" He looked at me confused. I explained, "Raghav, you don't climb a mountain in one jump. You take small steps. Each step deserves acknowledgement." So he began a ritual. Every night he wrote down one thing he was proud of, finishing a topic, meditating, or even just waking up early. And in 1 month, his confidence grew. His motivation didn't depend on the final result anymore. Now, this isn't just theory. Harvard Business Review found that employees who celebrated small progress were 31% more productive and 23% happier at work. And that's because each celebration, no matter how small, releases dopamine, the feel good chemical in your brain. It boosts motivation and builds momentum. So, next time you finish a chapter, submit a project, or overcome procrastination, pat yourself on the back. Light that imaginary firecracker in your mind and say, "Nice job, buddy." Because if you only celebrate the finish line, you'll miss the joy of the journey. And now, let's talk about the people around you, your inner circle. We all know that one person who's constantly negative. And you say, "I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel." And they reply, "Bro, millions are already doing it. What's new about yours?" You share that you want to switch careers, and they say, "Are you sure? What if it fails?" These are energy drainers. And if you spend too much time with them, you start believing what they say. So your environment shapes your mindset. Psychologist Dr. David McKelland of Harvard found that your success is determined by the average mindset of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So if your circle doesn't cheer for you, change the circle. Now, that doesn't mean you cut everyone off. It means you start curating your energy. Surround yourself with people who push you to do better. Mentors, teachers, peers, or even online communities. Take inspiration from Indian values too. In our culture, family and community have always been sources of strength. Talk to your parents, share your dreams, ask for guidance, but also learn to set boundaries. Not every advice is right for your path. So, when I was building my career, I had one rule. I only discussed my dreams with people who believed in my potential. And that's how you create the supportive ecosystem. One that fuels your growth instead of feeding your doubt. Because no cheerleader succeeds alone. Even the best athletes need a coach, a team, and a crowd that believes in them. And now, let's talk about something we all face: failure. Let me tell you a story about Arunima Sinha. She was a national level volleyball player who lost her leg after being thrown off a moving train by robbers. Most people would have given up. But Arunima? Oh, she was made for something else. She decided to do the unthinkable, climb Mount Everest with a prosthetic leg. Everyone told her it was impossible, but she became the first female amputee to scale Everest. You see, resilience isn't about never falling, it's about rising stronger every time you do. In fact, studies by the American Psychological Association show that people who reframe failure as learning are 40% more likely to achieve their long term goals. So, when you face rejection, whether it's a job, exam, or relationship, it's not the end of your story. It's simply a redirection. So, think of failure as feedback. It's life's way of saying, not this path, try another. You can develop resilience through three simple habits: journaling, reflection, and reframing. And at the end of the day, write down what went wrong, what did I learn, and what can I do differently tomorrow. I remember a young professional, Neha, who failed her MBA entrance twice. So instead of quitting, she started journaling every morning, rewriting her goals, visualizing success, and forgiving herself for past mistakes. And the third year, she cracked it and later became a motivational speaker herself. So when you start viewing setbacks as setups for comebacks, you become unstoppable. And now, let's wrap this up with something practical: your personal cheerleading routine. Yes, you heard me right. You can design your own system to stay motivated. And here's how it works: start your day with gratitude journaling. Write down three things you're thankful for: your health, family, or even that cup of chai that starts your morning. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's meaningful. And next, visualize your goals. Close your eyes for 2 minutes and imagine yourself achieving them. See the version of you who's confident, successful, and fulfilled. And then reward yourself, not only for big milestones, but for small ones too. Finish a tough week? Take a walk. Completed a project? Watch your favorite movie guilt free. Music also works wonders. Create your victory playlist, songs that lift your mood instantly, because music isn't just entertainment, it's therapy for your brain. According to Harvard Health Publishing, music can lower stress hormones and increase dopamine levels by up to 9%. And finally, affirm yourself daily. Before bed, say, I'm proud of my progress. I'm becoming better every day. I am enough exactly as I am. And this simple cheerleading routine rewires your mind for positivity, productivity, and peace. And it's not about fake motivation, it's about training your brain to find light even on dark days. So let's take a moment to reflect. Being your own cheerleader doesn't mean you're arrogant or self obsessed. It means you've stopped outsourcing your happiness to other people's opinions. It means you trust yourself even when no one else does, because life will not always be filled with applause. Some days the world will be silent, but if you can whisper to yourself, I've got this, that's enough to keep you moving. Remember, your success isn't determined by how loudly others clap, but by how consistently you show up for yourself. So today, I want you to make a promise to be your own supporter, your own motivator, your own biggest fan. And before we close, here's a little challenge. Tonight, when you look in the mirror, say this loud: I am proud of myself, not for what you've achieved, but for how far you have come. And then share this episode with a friend who might need this reminder today, because if every one of us learns to be our own cheerleader, imagine the kind of confident, compassionate, and unstoppable generation we can build. So, this is Kapil Gupta reminding you, you don't wait for the world to applaud, start your own standing ovation. See you in the next episode of the Kapil Gupta Career Pod Show. Until then, keep believing, keep growing, and keep cheering for yourself.